Hello everyone, my name is Emily, and today I'm going to talk about my art video setup. Both the old, busted yet functional one, and the new, still figuring it out one. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead and say this up front. I am sure there is a much better way to do what I'm doing. Unfortunately, how I like to film is oddly specific, and when I first started making art videos, there wasn't much information on how to film that way. So if you're like a photography expert and you think I'm doing this in the most complicated and convoluted way possible, then congratulations, you're probably right. Feel free to give any helpful hints you may have in the comments. And just a heads up, I'm just showing people how I do things. I am really not trying to spread any misinformation. Okay, so first things first, I was super broke when I first started my YouTube channel. Like, paycheck to paycheck, zero savings, kind of broke. I didn't have the best paying job in the world, and I had a medical issue that was obnoxiously expensive, so I had to get creative with my setup. Now, if I can find a picture of my old quote-unquote desk, I will insert it here. I lived with my ex-boyfriend at the time in a very small and cluttered room that was also technically vinyl record storage for the rest of the family. And side note, all of the stuff was his pre-existing clutter, not mine. So we had zero room for an actual desk. What I ended up doing was I turned an old end table into a workstation, and I used memorabilia boxes to store most of my art supplies. Oh yeah, and I had no chair. I used a step stool with 2 phone books duct taped to them. I covered said stool with a patterned fabric and topped it with a decorative pillow. I really put in the effort to try to make this impossibly small space comfortable. And I did that for 3 years. Goes to show you that if you really love something, you will find a way to keep doing it, no matter what. Anyway, we weren't working with a lot of space, obviously, so what I did was I purchased the cheapest Joby Gorilla tripod I could find, and then got a $10 selfie stick from Walgreens, and I duct taped them together. Seriously, are we noticing a pattern of duct taping things together? Okay, we are. Good. And I've been using that setup until my video before last. I am not kidding. That bum rig duct tape abomination worked for 2.5 years without fail. I had to replace the selfie stick phone mount once, and it was only because the little silicone pulley bit came off. Otherwise, it has worked like a dream, and that was because I was using an iPhone 5S to film with. For the first year I was on YouTube, that iPhone 5S was actually my active phone, but then I upgraded, but because of how annoying it was that I couldn't use my phone for anything while I was filming, I decided to keep using my 5S as my camera and use the phone I upgraded to as my active phone. The footage is actually shockingly good for using a phone that is quickly becoming obsolete. This setup was also great because I really didn't need much extra space. I could just attach a counterweight to the wristband at the end of the selfie stick and have it hang under my desk. And for my lighting setup, on one side of my workstation I had a desk lamp from IKEA, and on the other side was a Boston Harbor clip-on desk lamp with a paper towel rubber banded around it to diffuse the light. And that was it. A Gorilla tripod, a selfie stick, duct tape, some desk lamps with paper towels, and an iPhone 5S. That was all I needed for almost 2.5 years. So if you're dying to get your art YouTube channel started but have no way of taking any overhead shots, there you go. Okay, so now on to the upgraded setup. I now use a Sony a5100 camera, which is a small DSLR. So far, it's working amazingly. I'm just still tinkering with some of the settings, trying to figure out what works best for me. I'm also currently using the lens that came with it, which is the Sony EPZ 16 to 50mm power zoom lens. To mount it, I decided to purchase an articulated arm, opposed to using like a tripod with an additional rod and counterweight, because even though I have way more space in my current studio, it's kind of a long room, so having my desk pulled out to make room for a tripod and a rod, it isn't an option. I purchased a Photoconic Studio 3-section articulated arm, a Limo Studio super clamp with standard stud, a Manfrotto 143 BKT replacement camera mount, and a small rig shoe mount with a 1/4 inch screw. I have a mostly glass table and I couldn't mount the arm next to me as the clamp may shatter the glass, so I have the arm to the right of me where it can attach to the metal frame of the desk. The shoe mount is there to position my camera so it can film me working in a landscape format. It's not meant to hold the weight of a camera, so I have to use the camera's shoulder strap to help hold it up, and yes, there has always got to be some level of hobo rigging in literally everything I do. It's just in my nature. And as for my lighting setup, I used 2 Boston Harbor clip-on lamps with some paper towel rubber banded to them to diffuse the light. Don't judge my life! I do have 2 large professional photography lights by Limo Studio, but they're a pain in the ass to set up, especially for sporadic art filming, so I really only use them for live action segments. And that pretty much completes my new setup. I'm planning on doing a behind the scenes video all about what it takes to make an Emily Artful video, because there are a lot of steps. You would probably be very surprised. I'm sure most of you think it's just me screaming at my computer and my watercolors all day, but it's only slightly more complicated than that, I promise. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I never wanted to have to say this bit, but I guess only half of you are getting notified when my videos are uploaded, so please hit that subscribe button if you enjoy my content, and that little bell next to it, make sure you make sweet, slow, romantic love to it by giving it a little click so that you can get notified anytime I upload some of my bullshit. My mouth feels dirty that I said that. I hate asking for likes and thumbs up and followers and I'm filthy. It's all for the greater good. It's all for the greater good. Okay, calm down. All hail the babes. The babes is my one and true supreme leader. Okay, all right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to stay out of trouble. See you guys later.